Conversation, and just I think throughout today let's try and send as many of these dedications and as many of these memories of George Bizos as we possibly can. I mean, what an incredible man. He truly was an amazing man, and to just be in his presence was wonderful. I mean, Sakina, I remember towards the end of his life he was so highly emotional, and I remember every time you'd speak to Uncle George he would start crying.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it wasn't necessarily probably crying, but his eyes would water and he'd speak slowly and beautifully, and you would just want to hug him. He was just, and that was towards later life, but before that he was a strong advocate for almost everything that was good, and that was what when you think of him, or when I think of him, that's what I think of. What an amazing man.
Absolutely, and he was that moral compass.
Yeah.
You know, from start to end, just a good, solid human being. I remember the last time I did an interview with him on radio, as you said, you know, towards the end he was kind of frail, and we had this discussion with the production team. I was like, no, I don't care how frail he sounds
and how long it takes to answer something.
I think we should. And we did, and it turned out to be the most beautiful interview. But you know what stood out for me from that? When we left, so I was walking him out. It took us more than an hour to walk out of the building. Not because Uncle George was frail and walking slowly, but because everybody in the building along the way wanted to take a picture with him.
He's such a wonderful man. He really was. I mean, I have so many just fond memories of interacting, being with him, speaking to him, interviewing him, reading his books. You know, a man that obviously fled Greece. I think it was when he was about 13 years old, fled Greece, Nazi occupied at the time, then came to South Africa, finally, of course, becoming this incredible human rights lawyer who went on to champion black people, and that is very much so what people are going to remember him, and his incredible relationship with the late Tata Madiba, and almost in a way saving him from
many
execution.
other freedom fighters. They've all had intersection with Uncle George at some point. So we're asking you this morning, please send us your condolences and messages of support for the late George Bizos. Looking forward to sharing in some of your memories as well at Morning Live SABC, #Morning Live. All right, we have another question of the day as well, Leanne.
Yeah, we do. Obviously, this is coming from the very topical stories, and you'll see that this is also one of the trending topics, but we'll get into those in a few minutes. But what are your views on other major retailers pulling the Tresemme brand from their shelves? We've seen, I think it's Woolies, we've seen Checkers, we've seen Pick n Pay, all of this on the back of what happened at Clicks. They're all pulling the Tresemme brand now. What do you think? Good thing, or why bother? Or yes, let the brand be punished. I mean, these are the kind of views we're wanting to hear from you. And I must say, whenever you respond to these questions, you give both Sakina and myself some food for thought. So once again, give us some food, our breakfast for thought this morning.
Let's take a look at the news diary and some of the stories that we'll be tracking. The Judicial Commission of Inquiry into state capture in Johannesburg will continue today to hear Eskom-related evidence from former board member Vanita Klein. Now, the commission is also expected to hear further evidence from former Eskom board chairperson Dr. Ben Ngubane, who testified in September last year.
BFF today meeting with a delegation from Clicks and British consumer goods company Unilever over the controversial advertisement that saw the Red Berets protest and close down Clicks stores on Monday.
And of course, those coronavirus hotline numbers 0800 029 999. That's the 24-hour hotline number that you can call, or you can make use of the official WhatsApp service on 0600 123 456.
All right, here are your numbers now, just to the provincial breakdown. You can see Gauteng still right on the top when it came to infections, or comes to infections. 213,741 are the total amount of reported cases. That, of course, has reduced dramatically with regard to infections. And, of course, remember that the recovery rate in South Africa is heading into 89% recovery rate. Really good here in the country. KwaZulu-Natal, 115,000. Western Cape, 107,000. The Eastern Cape 87,000, the Free State 40,000. I'm rounding it off, I'm sure you can see that. The Northwest 26,000, Mpumalanga 25,000, Limpopo 13,900, and the Northern Cape 12,407. Tests conducted to date are at 3.8 million at this point.
Right, and these are the last week's statistics, the past 7 days. Looking at last Thursday, recovery rate at 554,887, and up to yesterday, we're now at 569,335, and we're looking at a recovery rate in the upper ranges of the 80%. And then the death toll, 14,563 last Thursday, we're now up to 15,168, unfortunately. And the number of new cases, as you can see, the increases there, 2,420 last Thursday, and those numbers have been dropping. Monday, they were down to 854, but yesterday, 1,990.